Hey guys, Keith Keller, Melbourne, Australia, and you're watching another Wisdom Wednesday. It's a fantastic new idea that I've started here on StreamYard with my friends Joyce Glass and Sherilyn Bisbano. And we help writers write their books and promote their books. And today we have my very good friend Jane Jackson calling in from Sydney. She's written a book and it's now an Amazon bestseller. She's actually a career coach who's written about her 20 years experience. And she's very, very humble to say that that's what she does. She doesn't teach people to write. She doesn't class herself as a writer, but she is. She's written a book about what she knows. And this is exactly what this group is about. So Jane, welcome to the call. Tell us all about the book and tell us how you did it.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you so much, Keith, for inviting me on the show. It's a great honor and it's lovely to be here. And I'm glad we've sorted out our StreamYard issues with regard to the live broadcast. So that's great. All about the book, there's so much to tell. Maybe what I should let you know is that it's just been released, my book, in the second edition, because it was first published back in 2015. I've got a copy here. This is the original, Navigating Career Crossroads, which did very well. And it's a guide really for job seekers and people who are looking for direction in their lives. And then in May, June this year, I released the second edition because there's a massive chapter in here all about LinkedIn, and LinkedIn has had so many new features released recently that I realized that I needed to update. Plus there are a lot of new links in there and links to additional resources that I've put in the book to help job seekers and people who want to really find meaning and true satisfaction in their careers.
It's a very, very, very good scenario because the first book was written really out of passion. You wrote it, it sold well, and then you thought, maybe we'll do a rewrite. And what you've said there is really important. LinkedIn is this behemoth, 690 million users, 690 million users. Now it's professional, and this show and this group is all about people who want to write a book and find an audience around the world online. And LinkedIn is possibly one of the best ways to do that. What parts of the book talk about LinkedIn, and what are the differences you talk about?
Yeah, it's part of the branding section in the book because with my book, I've structured it into 7 steps. So really, it's like a 7 steps careers program. And when we talk about writing a book, I can tell you how I came to the decision to actually write it in these 7 steps. But the LinkedIn bit is part of the Express Your Personal Brand chapter, which is quite a long one because it's not just online branding, it's also branding in person. Not that we're able to meet that many people in person these days. Most things are all online now. So it's really important to know how to project yourself. And I do a lot of LinkedIn live broadcasts as well, especially during the COVID days, coronavirus pandemic. And I created a hashtag, which was called Time for Global Connection. And that's where all of my LinkedIn live broadcasts have been, because I've been interviewing and discussing with people in Canada and the UK and across Australia and Singapore. And it's all about how we can brand ourselves effectively during the pandemic so that our businesses stay in business, or as career professionals, we can find a new job if our roles have been affected.
Yeah, look, I really want to pick up on this. I really want to pick up on this in a couple of ways. One is this particular show at this stage, because just in case people don't know, you have to apply to get LinkedIn Live. And just by virtue of the fact that Jane has been accepted, she's in a very special class of about 4 people that I personally know. So she's in this very small group of people that have been accepted to produce content, which is a badge of honor in itself. So LinkedIn is one of those things you can bolt onto StreamYard, and you can do these live streams to 690 million people. And so, it's 2020 and we're all locked at home. Melbourne, very much so. We can't leave the house after 8 o'clock. We can only walk 1 hour a day. The police can, fine you for going for a walk. And, you can only exercise at a very small time, and you can only leave the house to do shopping once a day. So everyone in the world is affected by a variation on this. So right at the moment, in a way, if you flip it, you've got the perfect chance to create a brand, to write a book, to build your, your purposeful career. I'm actually deliberately, and I know you are too, we are deliberately flipping this and saying, well, what can we do here in amongst all of this tragedy? What can we do to flip it, to keep our minds buoyant and our hearts sort of peaceful? And you've done it. You've written a book and you've done a second version. And we've got 1,600 members in the group now, and they're all very, very excited to hear from you. Can you tell us a little bit about the process of writing the book? You've been doing this for 20 years. Why did you write a book, and how did you do it? Did you write at a certain time? Did you lock yourself in a room? Did you go on a retreat? I'd love to hear how you did it.
Okay, so why and how? So the big why is because as a career coach, now it wasn't until I turned 40, long time ago, that I became a career coach. I was in corporate training and a number of other careers, and I've made lots of career transitions. So I'm a career transition coach. I've experienced it. I've had 5 country moves. I've gone through all sorts of stuff, which has been quite an emotional transition, and I know what it takes in order to get over the difficult times. So having coached for 15 years at the time, this is like 14 years, 2014, 2015, I was coaching one-on-one. And if I turned up to deliver coaching, I would get paid. If I turned up to deliver a corporate workshop, I would get paid. And that was fine, but it was very much time for money. And also, I'm on this mission because I really want to help as many people as possible to take control of their careers, because I know when you know what career direction is truly the one for you, it's so rewarding. And this is what I have now, because for the past 25 years, I have loved what I do and it doesn't feel like work. So I'd like that for others as well, not to wait 20 years as I did to discover who we're supposed to be, but to understand the things that we could do that will be rewarding earlier on. And I was racking my brains thinking, what can I do to scale my business so that I can reach more people and make careers guidance accessible and affordable to everyone who needs it globally, which sounded a bit like a grandiose dream. And I had no idea how to do it. And so thinking, and I thought, okay, well, a book is an affordable and accessible thing for most people. You can get it as an ebook, you can send it as a PDF download, you can get it on Amazon and Booktopia and Kinokuniya, all sorts of platforms. So I thought, okay, as a paperback and as a Kindles are inexpensive, Kindle versions are inexpensive, and paperbacks are under 25 Australian dollars, which is about what, 20 US dollars, which is not going to break the bank. Yes. So I thought, if I had a book that could give people all the information that I know, that I have been helping one-on-one individuals going through redundancy and career transition, then that would help me to fulfill my mission, and it would help a lot of people. So the why is, it was born out of a desire to be able to help people and to make a difference, and also to leave a legacy in a way, because that's why we're on earth, aren't we? To make our mark, and to have a book, it really makes a difference.
Look, let's pick up on this, and we've got quite an active group, so please jump in and make some comments. I'll feed them into the live feed. If you've got any questions at all for Jane, just let us know, we'll feed them in. But you've said a couple of really powerful things. We've talked mostly about the why. Let's start with the why. You had a career where you would go into the city and you would be paid if you turned up. If you had a sick day, you didn't get paid. If there was a recession, you didn't get paid. But you said, why don't I scale this so that everyone can afford $20? And if you want to write, my wife has read your book. She was going through a career change, and you gave us that book because we came to see you, and I really am thankful for that. But she read the book and she got so much value out of it that it was a major step in her getting a career change. But it became affordable, and I absolutely understand that mission of actually doing something that everyone in the world can benefit from. We have a membership site, which is $29. I know you have a membership site, which we'll talk about in a minute. And it allows you to scale your time for 2 reasons. One is you can do a much more even flow depending on independent of the economic circumstances. Second of all, you reach a larger audience because your cost per transaction is a lot less. So I'm very, very excited about the fact that the book was a conduit to a bigger mission, and as you said, a legacy. My membership site is a legacy for me as well. I totally understand that thing. But what about how you did it? Like, what I really want to know is, did you lock yourself away in a room? Did you go on a retreat? Did you just write at the same time every night? How did you write the book in amongst having a busy work life?
Yeah, well, let me tell you, it took a lot of time management because I'm a major procrastinator. And I actually have another book that I've been wanting to publish for a long time. It's a children's book, and it's been about 30 years, and I still haven't done it yet. But this one, to fulfill my mission, I felt was very important.
Yes,
the children's book is a fun thing that I want to do. So fun things you tend to put on the back burner. But when I decided that I wanted to write this book, I had no idea how to do it, because unless you're in the publishing world, how are you supposed to know? And I found this amazing business incubator, which was a 40-week business incubator, and it was helping professionals, business owners, and I run my own coaching practice, to scale their businesses. So you've reached a certain level and you're kind of stuck, and then you want to get to the next level. And so what I found during this business incubator was a cohort of amazing people who all wanted to write a book as well.
Wow.
And that's where you get the accountability, because you've got to find your tribe. And Keith, you talk about tribes very much, and we all need to find our own tribe. And whatever you want to do in life, whether it's sports or and fitness, or if you want to, become a great chef or whatever, if you surround yourself with other people on the same mission, then you end up getting a lot further. There's an African saying, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And so with this group of professionals, all who wanted to write their own books, we formed an accountability group. And
let me pick up on that. Can I just pick up on what you just said there? No, I know there's an overlap, so I'm probably going to butt in, and I apologize for that. So Joyce, can you write that down? Can you write that brilliant quote down? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, join a group. Go in a group. So what we have, you and I both, is a desire to help large amounts of people, the world, which is you and I both have a global vision. As you said, you're on LinkedIn and you're chatting to people, and you've even got a hashtag, time for global. Is it time for global connection?
Yes. Follow it. There are lots of
it's unbelievable. And so what you've said there is that you can get some stuff done on your own, and we all know people that do this. They sort of chunk it down, and they just sort of nut it out, and they're on their own, and they sort of, it's them against the world, and they get stuff done, and they're very stoical. But in reality, the people that get lots done, the big shakers and the movers, the people that are wise enough, and that's the right word, they're wise enough to know that we don't know everything. And you joined a group of 40 other people that also wanted to write a book. How cool is that? How cool is that? 40 other people. We have a Facebook group with 1,600 people all wanting to write a book. And so you did it in a different way. You found a business incubator. Was it actually a physical event where you went and chatted to people over coffee? Can you tell us about that?
It was great, because what we did was we had 5 face-to-face it was either 1 or 2 days each time. So everyone was in a room together learning about different stages of scaling your business. And one of those big days was a 2-day a program which was all about writing a book. And there's this fabulous author mentor called Andrew Griffiths, who guided us through the process, because he is an author mentor, and he's absolutely wonderful. He's just one of the most warm, wonderful, funny men, and he's written over 20 books himself. And so he guided us through. And what I found was the most valuable was the process of writing a book. And the important thing is you've just got to start. Once you start, it's fine. Now, people are thinking, oh, well, where should I write it? Should I have some sort of writing software? And how do I break it up into chapters? And how do I do this, that, and the other? And one of the softwares that people can use is like Scrivener. And so I tried it, but I got so confused, because I just like to keep things simple. The simpler you keep things, the more likely you will stick to it. So if you have a Word document to write your to write your book. That's all you need. I mean, I think writing by hand is just too hard and old school, but just use a Word doc. That's how I did it. And you can break it up into chapters as well. But with the process, we set ourselves a target of 1,000 words a day.
That's it, 1,000 words a day.
1,000 words a day for 30 days, so that we would get 30,000 words within a month. And that would break the back of the big writing project. And I ended up writing 75,000 words, which then needed to be edited. Okay, so I had quite a few thousand cut out because I end up being a bit long-winded and I get very excited and overwrite, I think. But what I found really helped me in the writing process was not only having this group of professionals who are also writing books, but I roped in all of my friends. And I told the world, and I put it on Facebook, and I called my friends, and I sent text messages saying, hey guys, I am writing a book on career transition. And so when you put it out there to the world will keep you accountable, because you'd be too embarrassed if you don't do it, because you've said, this is my goal, help me. And everybody did. And there was one of my friends who was absolutely fantastic, because she would text me every day, how many words have you done today, Jane? How many words?
Wow, I love that.
And then, yeah. And she would say, okay, when you reach 10,000 words, a bottle of Veuve Clicquot. And I went, oh, okay.
Let me just pick up on this. This is very important. This is extremely important, because we have 1,600 members in the group. Hello, Kaylee. Hello, Anita. Hello, Dar. There's people in the group right now listening to these words. You said a couple of really key things. 1,000 words a day for 30 days. That broke the back of the process. You set yourself an intention, right? You had a goal, and you had accountability partners saying, how you doing? Did you get your 1,000 words done? How you doing? 10,000 words, shout yourself a bottle of wine. You know, so then you had a reward.
Champagne, please. Wine just doesn't cut it. It needs to be champagne, Keith.
Okay. Sorry, I don't drink, so I don't really understand the idiosyncrasies of what all these words mean. But you shouted yourself a bottle of something. For me, I might, bought a bit of tech. But I'm looking at getting a new mixer, and so we have all these goals, and so if you have a goal and you reach it, you should give yourself a reward, right? And so we've got a really vibrant group of people. Hello, Andrea, and I just want to pick up on some of the questions. Kaylee has asked a question. Let me just pick up on that one here. There's so many questions, it's actually now quite far back. I might actually go and find that one in a minute. But the point that you've got here, given that we're live in front of a live studio audience, so to speak, and remember, the way I know Jane is that I've been on her podcast twice, and she knows that as a very young child, I wanted to be on the radio, even as a 16-year-old kid after school. So in a way, this is like my dream come true, Jane. I mean, I've got my own TV show. I've got my own sort of TV show. I mean, and that's what live streaming is for me. My brand is a way of getting the word out, interviewing great people, talking to people live. And this is exactly what I want to do. This is exactly what I intend to do with my life. It's my legacy. I really don't have anything to say myself. I love interviewing other cool people. But I'll come back and circle back into the questions in a minute. But I just wanted to pick up on the value of an accountability partner. Why is that so important?
Well, mainly because you feel so embarrassed if you don't do it. And most of us, and certainly I do, is that because I'm the procrastination queen, honestly, if there's something I need to do and I suddenly notice the ironing, suddenly ironing becomes very, very appealing, rather than sitting and writing.
Wow, I would never have guessed that of you. I would never have guessed that of you.
No, well, this is the thing. I do get stuff done because I have to set up systems in order to get stuff done. So I've managed to overcome what is a big challenge for me, because I tend to get distracted. But with this book, I wanted to get the book written. And I think for everybody who wants to write a book, you need to know why you are writing the book. Because if you don't have a very strong why, then that means when it gets a bit hard, you'll give up. You'll give up. And what my husband did was he was very supportive, because Every day, 1,000 words. It doesn't sound like a lot, but let me tell you, when you're writing 1,000 words every single day, it ends up being a lot. And there were times when, you know, it's a Saturday and a Sunday and I didn't take a break, I still wrote. I would think I'd rather go to the beach, or I'd rather go and see my friends, or I'd rather go for dinner, but I haven't written my 1,000 words today. And so my husband would give me a cup of tea or give me a glass of wine, and he would always say to me, why are you doing this? And I go, oh, because I'm on this mission to make careers guided, accessible, and affordable to the world. So that's what I kept saying to myself. And
Yeah.
every time I'd say it, it would just light a little bit of a spark in me. And it's like, yeah, this is really important. This is, not everybody gets to have support. So if I can do this, this is my little thing that will help the world. And I know it in a very small way, but if it helps just one person, it's going to make a difference to someone's life, isn't it? So that really helped to fuel the energy to keep going, even when I didn't feel like it. Because
which was often, and I know what you're saying, procrastination is like a thing. You and I both have, we've mastered it, haven't we? I actually have mastered it as a skill. I've got a PhD in procrastination. So I want to pick up on Kaylee's question. Kaylee's question is all about research and the idea of, did you do any research in order to do the book, or did you mainly do it based on your own personal experience as a person that's done this for 20 years? Did you mainly write from your own experience, or did you have to go outside of yourself to do research to back up what you were talking about? Hopefully that's what Kaylee's talking about there. I'm trying to paraphrase what she said.
Oh, I did tons of research, so much research, because I mean, I can't just write a book about my opinion and what I think. I mean, I suppose I could, but you need to back it up with facts and figures and exactly what has been done before as well. And so what I did was, first of all, the book is based on predominantly my experience as a coach and all the thousands of people that I've coached over the years. Because when you go through a redundancy, or you're thinking of a career change, or you don't like your boss, or you don't like the culture in the organization, you know, most of us go through a bit of angst at some stage in our lives, and then we get a bit confused and we feel stuck. And so what I do with my coaching is I help people to get unstuck, to get the confidence and the clarity. And the clarity is so important, because without clarity, you don't have confidence. But once you've got the clarity of who you're supposed to be in your life and in your career, then you can start to set a plan to get to where you want to be. So that's what coaching is all about. So I thought, well, why don't I put this into a book? And I thought that because I focus on career transition, and this is my initial thinking, and you do pivot when you're writing your book as well. I thought, okay, people in career transition, they need a resume and they need to know how to interview well. And that was what my book was originally going to be all about, resumes and interview techniques. But before you write anything, go to a bookstore or go and look online and see who else has done this before. Because if there are 1,000,001 books on exactly the same topic as you, well, it probably doesn't need to be written by you at this stage yet again, because you're going to be reiterating some pretty obvious stuff that other people have already written about. But what you need to do is to see, where is there something missing? And when I was
look for the missing parts.
Yeah. And when I was researching, I found there are hundreds of thousands of books on how to write a resume, thousands of books on how to prepare for job interviews. So if I was going to do it, I would just be lost in a sea of other books. But what I didn't find was a book on exactly what I do with my clients. And that is take them through the entire process of feeling cheesed off with their career, feeling a bit afraid, daunted, and unsure about what they could be doing in their lives and their careers, through to feeling confident, clear, and excited about the next step in their career direction. So that is the process that I take people through. So I thought, well, I can't see any books with that. So I decided I'm going to write a book that takes me through the entire process. And then I did a Survey Monkey survey.
Wow, a Survey Monkey survey.
Yeah, and this is really good. Do a survey before you start doing anything, because otherwise you're going to be wasting a lot of time. So I sent a Survey Monkey survey to 200 of my past clients. I chose the ones that I thought would probably respond. And so I sent it out to them, and I'd say 93%, 94% responded. And out of that, one of the questions I asked was, remember when you went through your career transition, what did you find was the most helpful about what we did together? And I was expecting getting a resume, job interviews, but you know what? 68% came back and they said something else. And I thought, okay, so there's something else, and then make a comment. And the comments were over and over again, what am I supposed to be when I grow up? And how do I build my self-confidence? So it's assessing what makes you tick, you know, what it is that you've got, your assets, and also the meaning of life and building your self-confidence. So I thought, wow, I hadn't realized that was the most important thing, was building the self-confidence and then understanding and getting the career clarity. So I changed the whole idea, the premise of my book, into the first 2 chapters are all about why and dealing with change and building your self-confidence and managing stress. So I have a lot of exercises within the book to help you take a life inventory, and then assess your values, assess your skills and knowledge, your motivators, what your dream job might be, what your tangible accomplishments are. So a lot of assessing. And so it's a practical book. You know, I mean, when you have a look in here, I've got so many exercises in here for you to complete. Just going through, you know, exercises, and the book is big enough that you can actually write in them. and one day I had lunch actually with one of my former clients, and when we met, she goes, Jane, I have to show you this. And she brought her book out of the bag, and it was full of Post-it notes. She goes,
wow, I love that.
Oh, I'm so honored. But so getting the feedback was good, because it helped me to write a more valuable book that really resonated with people going through a career change. And the research...
Let me just pick up what you just said there for the group. Remember, this is a group live coaching call, and everyone's going ballistic. Well, we're really getting some great feedback. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you, Sherilyn. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Linda. Linda has actually put your book, link to your book, in the comments. So we need to get a big cyber hug. And so
can I pop something in the comments just in case anyone might be interested?
While I'm chatting, just do that. Yeah. So I want to pick up on what Kaylee's question and your answer. Mm-hmm. So you had at that stage maybe 15, 20 now, 15 years experience in the industry. You could have simply written a book about what you know. What you did, I really want to bout your feet here. What you did was you went into bookshops and you said, well, what books are already being written about this? Yeah. I don't want to write books that have already been written. I've got to look for the missing parts.
Yeah.
So you went in with the intention of filling a gap, not just simply blurbing on about what you already know, because that book might have already been written, which means that no one needs to buy it and it might not have sold very well. What you did was you found the missing part. Then you did a second thing, and this is genius. I do this with Twitter polls. You did it with SurveyMonkey. You asked your tribe what they wanted. You actually said, what do you think would be the best part of the process that you've done so far? Thinking that, you know, with your wisdom, maybe it was that I helped them write this really killer resume and they got a brand new job. What you found was that 68% of people said something you didn't expect, and you would never have got that if you didn't ask them. And then you found, and I'm distilling this for the group because this is exactly what we talk about on our group calls. You know, the group is saying, well, what do I write about or how do I start? What you did was you asked people what they wanted and you wrote for them. We talk a lot about this in the right plan. W stands for who.
That's right.
The big start is who is reading the book and what do they want? And you actually found that 68% of the audience actually wanted something different to what you think or thought they wanted. And you simply flipped the articles and the writing to ask for that. And no wonder it's a bestseller when you ask people what they wanted and they bought it. And then you're now in your second pressing. I mean, it's very impressive. It's very impressive.
It's funny. It doesn't feel like it was impressive. It was kind of organic in a way, because I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just wanted to ask people, you know, what is it that was the best thing? And that's actually something that made me realize the benefit of my coaching process. It's not just, you know, a process, because getting a job, it's not rocket science. It's just a process that you follow. But the really hard bit is for people to really believe in themselves, understand their value, because sometimes when you've gone through a redundancy, you feel rubbish. You just think, oh,
Yeah.
they don't want me anymore. And that knocking of your self-confidence, that's the one thing that I realize I'm able to help people with, is build their self-confidence. You know, just 2 days ago, one of my clients that I'm working with, he was so sweet. He called because he was having a bit of a wobble, and we had a chat. And at the end of the chat, he goes, Jane, it's amazing. He goes, I called you and I felt I was worth about $1. After our chat, I feel $1 million. And oh, it was so nice, because it just, like, if you can believe in yourself, honestly, I believe you can do anything. Even Goethe, okay, the great philosopher, said, if you can believe in yourself, and then you can create magic. Yes, I don't think I've quoted it exactly, but basically, in order to create magic, you have to believe in yourself. Without
it's all mindset. And look, I really want to pick up on this, because this is partially what the group needs, but also it's a very much what you do. I have been retrenched 3 times in very quick succession. And for about 5-year period, I felt like a zero.
Yeah.
You know, I'd go to a job, I'd do my best. After 6 months, the company would close down. Zero. Start again, another job. Zero. And after that, when on my 30th birthday, this is exactly our crossover. On my 40th birthday, I said, you know what? From now on, 2006, I'm going to work for myself. I am in charge. If I get up and do the work, I win. If I don't, I'm the only one to blame. And once I did that in 2006, the whole world changed for me. I haven't got a book. I'm more into video and audio, but the idea is the same. I decided that I want to share what I know and help the world. And I don't want a boss to tell me how much money I make and what I have to do. And I want to pick up a little bit on this, because we're in the COVID period where lots and lots of people are getting retrenched. And 2 very big things are happening at the moment. One is a lot of people are taking this time to write a book. And 2, a lot of people are saying, you know what, I'm sick of working for someone else. I want to be in charge. And you're doing a bit of this with your what is it called? Start Your Own Business Bootcamp. Tell us a little bit about that sub-project.
Okay, well, it's one of the online programs that I created, and I don't know if this will be helpful for your listeners, but what we need in order to create a living for ourselves and recession-proof us, because right now, yesterday in Australia, you know, we announced we're officially in recession now, okay, and so people are starting to worry, and you know, we've got over 1 million who are currently unemployed and looking for a job, so there's a little bit of panic going on. So you need to think, if you either you're going to look for a full-time permanent job, what's permanent these days anyway, with redundancies galore and downsizing, or a part-time job, or you can freelance, or you can start your own business, or you can buy a franchise, or you can become a consultant. There are lots of things that you can do. You have options, but if you don't understand what your options are and you don't have that clarity, then you need a little bit of guidance. But I created this Build Your Business Masterclass. It's a free masterclass that you can attend, just so that you can get your head around, are you really cut out for self-employment? And I've also got a number of other online programs as well. I've got one, if you're thinking, I need to brand myself, like personal branding, I have a free 3 secrets to personal branding masterclass as well. Do you want me to pop those in the
Yes, please. What I'll do is you do that while I pick up. My friend Doug from Canada, Vancouver, Canada, is called in. He's got a book. He's got a podcast. He's a winner. I don't know if you know Doug, if you've been on his podcast or he's been on yours, but this is the world we now live in. I live in Melbourne, Australia. Jane is in Sydney, Australia. Doug is in Vancouver, Canada. You know, Joyce is in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the world that we now inhabit. And right at this moment, for this hour of time, we are all hanging out in the same space. And so after being retrenched 3 times and being told that really I was worthless, the flipping of saying, no, I'm in charge now. I went back to uni, I did a degree. I was a career counselor for 5 years, and then I started a radio show, and now I'm doing live streaming, and I'm in complete control. And the Facebook group is all about that. It's all about empowerment, so that you can write your book to do more speaking gigs. You can write your book to create a coaching course. You can control your destiny in an environment that is possibly, in the history of my life, is certainly the most uncertain feeling in the world I've ever known personally. Maybe for 100 years we've never had this uncertainty. Maybe since the Second World War, certainly the world is in complete turmoil, and we need to take charge of our personal world. Writing a book, having a coaching program, having a website, a blog. These are things that we can do, and your course talks about that, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. There's so much here. I popped a number of URLs to some free stuff, lots of free stuff. And this is, you remember, I'm on a mission to make the careers guidance accessible and affordable to the world. This is why I have a lot of free stuff as well, because not everyone can even afford $20. Yeah. But as long as you've got an internet connection, then you can get a whole lot of stuff. So I've got downloads like job search guides, as well as how to get a job free program, online call. Oh, maybe I should put that in the chat.
Well, let me pick up on what you've just said there while you type those in. The thing that's great about people like Jane, my best friend from Sydney, who I've met in person, which is not very common anymore, is that entrepreneurs have really two parts to their process. One is, sure, we need to make money to pay the bills, but most of the people I know also have enormous hearts and huge amounts of free resources for those that can't afford the big plan. And so you've got a free coaching call, you've got this really cost-effective membership site, you've got a book. Sure, people can work with you one-on-one, and they can have you come in to talk to their business if you want. That's your big plan. But you've got a membership site. When you've got a bit of time, can you talk about how that works and how it's really the natural extension of the book?
Yeah, okay. Hang on, I'm just popping.
Pop that in.
Did I put the whole thing in there? I'm not even sure. Hang on, let me paste that. Hang on. There. If I do this, hang on, I'm just quickly getting a URL for you here. Copy. And
no worries, plenty of time, because this is a very active process, and Dar is getting a lot of joy out of this, and so is Joyce and Linda. So thank you everyone for all the comments.
Yeah, the Careers Academy Online Get a Job. This is a free how to get a job audio course. And because I'm a podcaster as well, I've actually got 3 podcasts. There's something else free. If you just go Spotify or iTunes, Your Career Podcast with Jane Jackson. Okay. That's why we have over 197 episodes. 2 are with the wonderful Keith Keller.
Yeah, they are.
The guru. And I mean, Keith was so great to interview that I had to interview him another year later. and that's how we became, because we met, I think, via, I interviewed someone who said, Brian Bestselling, that's right, the Bacon podcast. And he said, do you know Keith Keller? If you don't, you must get to know him. And so he linked us up together, and then I got to know you, and you were so nice. You're warm and fuzzy. I'm warm and fuzzy. That's good. And then over the years, then you came to Sydney with your wife Carol, and I got to meet you, and that was so much fun, wasn't it? Really fun.
Well, what you've said there is really amazing. Brian Bestselling has a podcast, and he interviewed me. And this will start to happen to members of the group. But what Brian then said to you after he interviewed you, or you interviewed him, hey, there's another Aussie up the road from you. Yeah. And so people that have content, a live stream, a blog, a podcast, they need content. So, and this is actually what Marketing Mondays is about next week. We need to position ourselves so that we are the go-to resource for a particular thing, so that when a podcast or a live stream or a guest blog spot comes up, they think of you. And the more that you do it, the more that people do it. And Brian suggested me to you, and you obviously liked the first interview, and then you had me back on. And suddenly what happens? You come on my live stream, and it's a flow. It's a lovely flow. And we're helping the world. It's a very cost-effective way. There's lots and lots of comments, more than 60 already for today's session. And everyone's getting value. And really, this is the essence of what we do, isn't it? The internet has been such a great facilitator for all this really great wisdom, and some of which we give away, and others we need to pay for our costs. And really, I love what you're doing. I love that you've got just about every base covered, haven't you?
Well, I don't know about that. There's always so much to learn. But can I just put on something, just pick up on something that you said, is that in order to brand yourself, you become like the go-to person in your area of expertise. And that's all part of your branding. And in order to become the go-to person, you have to create content. And content can be in so many forms, like Keith, with your live streams, that's content. It becomes a video. You can repurpose it and reshare it as you do, which is good. For me, I have a book. I call it like you need to productize what you do for alternative and additional income streams, because if you have a model where you give people free stuff so they can get to know you, maybe like you, and trust that you give value, so it's a know, like, and trust thing, which is so important. Give people a lot of value. Don't give them cheap free stuff. Give them good free stuff that really is value. Then they think, oh gosh, if he or she's going to give me this for free, imagine if I paid, how much better it could even be. Yes. And so it develops that trust, and people, they become part of your community. And what I want to do with everything I do is to attract authentic, genuine, nice people, because I run my own business. I just want to work with people I want to work with. And so, like, when I met you, and I thought, oh, he's so nice, he's so warm, he's so giving, this is so good. And then we become friends. I mean, I meet some people who just take, and it gives you this bad feeling that you're taking advantage of. And because I'm warm and fuzzy, I find it very hard to say no. But I've learned in my dotage that how to say no, because when you become known, you get approached by a lot of different people, and some people will take advantage of you, and some people will be kind and nice and genuinely be there for you. And so I would like to recommend, as you go on your writing journey and have multiple bestsellers, everybody, please work with people that you really feel good about, because if you don't, you're going to get burnt, and you'll become disillusioned, and you'll give up. And you need to surround yourself with like-minded people who share your values, and always make values-based decisions. Don't just make it because of money.
Look, I really want to honor what you just said there. Look, we are examples, and I'm proud to say that I'm a living example of what I teach. I believe that really you need to be a good person and hang out with good people. I always give people a chance once. Always. And if they burn me, I have learnt to be assertive and say, look, okay, you've had your free look, you've had your chance, sorry. You always need to give people a chance, but you also have to be strong, and this is very important. You have to be strong enough to say, you know what, there's only one of me.
Yeah.
And I only have 8 or 10 hours a day that I can dedicate to this, because I want to spend some time with my wife, and I want to have a good sleep, and I want to go and get some exercise. So I've got 10 hours a day that I can do this for, and I can only hang out with people that honor me. If you like what I'm doing and we have a flow, you've got my whole attention. But if you want to just suck me dry and use me up, then really I'm going to get very sick of that pretty quick. And you have to be assertive enough to say, you've had your free look, you've had your free chance, and sorry, you blew it, and move on. It's a very, very, as you said, it's a very difficult decision to do sometimes, but the only way to help others is to have that open heart, and to have a bit of like a backstop, a bit of a gate, a brick wall, to say, you know what, you've crossed the line, buddy. And have you had to do that a bit?
Yes. Like I said, I'm just a warm and fuzzy career coach. That's all. And I'm on a mission to help people. And in my earlier days, especially because I'm naturally quite giving, I found I would start to get this feeling of, this doesn't feel right. That's not very nice. And I would get really upset about it. And I've learnt over the years to develop more of a thick skin about things. And hey, I run a business. I run a private coaching practice. I'm in business because I need to earn a living. We all got to pay bills, right? And so I'm happy to give away stuff, but at some stage I'm going to have to charge for my time as well. And I charge what I know I'm worth. And this is something that a lot of professionals, when they're in their own business, they don't realize. They don't know what their worth is, and then they undercharge. But remember, if you brand yourself well and you know you deliver excellence in all you do and you strive to deliver the best that you can, then you know you're worth it, and then you can charge. I had a fantastic mentor many years ago, and when I was approached by a large mining company here in Australia to do a series of group workshops for them in Perth and in Brisbane and Melbourne, they asked me to do a request for a proposal, RFP, and I said, can you have a look at my proposal and see what you think? And he said, Jane, you're charging that, because I put down an amount that I thought was market value, and he goes, ridiculous, double it. And I went, what? And I felt like this heart fluttering, like, oh, I'm a bit nervous about doubling it. And he goes, no, in fact, triple it. And I went, what? I can't. And so what I did was I doubled it, but I felt nervous just submitting it with that, because I thought, wow, that's too much. They said yes without any question. Then I thought, I should have quadrupled it. And then negotiated. But this is the thing, because you don't realize your worth. And you sometimes you need to have a trusted mentor or advisor to help you. Oh, I've changed shape.
Sorry, I'm just adjusting. Look, what you've said there is really, really valuable. I want to bring Joyce in on the call because a couple of things. I want to pick up on the idea of the online networking. This is still new to us, to a lot of people. Most people we know have always been to a in-person networking event, and you do them. And the LinkedIn Local is a thing that is started in Australia. It's now become a bit of a thing. Dar has asked the question: is networking online becoming an acceptable alternative? And how do you do it?
Oh, absolutely. Networking online, fantastic. It's, I mean, there are a number of ways to do it. I mean, there are lots of online networking groups now. And I mean, one of them is I co-host LinkedIn Local Sydney with the wonderful Gillian Bullock. And what we do is they're called LinkedIn Local because people meet online on LinkedIn, but let's take the online connection offline. And so when you meet face to face, then you can actually get to know the real people behind the LinkedIn profiles. Now, because of COVID, we haven't been able to do the live events. We've been doing them for 3 years now. It's amazing. And so the last 2 have been online, and we weren't sure how it would work. And we did them via Zoom, and you can have breakout rooms, and it actually works really well as an event to go onto Zoom, have the breakout rooms. We do everything as a group initially, and then we break out everyone who attends into smaller groups so they can really get to know each other. Then we close the breakout rooms, and then Julie and I are there giving LinkedIn tips, and we usually have a fun activity for people to do as well. And so that's a great way for people to get to know each other anywhere in the world.
On Zoom is the best idea.
Yeah, I love Zoom. I think Zoom's fantastic. It doesn't allow you to broadcast live to LinkedIn, though. So StreamYard is good that way to broadcast live to LinkedIn, but StreamYard only allows you to have a maximum of 10 people in the call. And then I've noticed that there is a little bit of problem with bandwidth when you have so many. So I like to have no more than 3 people on a StreamYard call, but with Zoom, I can have up to 100. You can have up to 1,000 if you have the webinar facility, but I like to keep things a bit smaller. So 100's more than enough.
So StreamYard and Zoom are the 2 major players that have slightly different functionality. Let me bring Joyce in on call. Joyce is the owner of, as well as Sherilyn, of this group, and I just wanted to introduce her to the group if they haven't met her yet. Some people have joined the group recently and may not have had a chance to chat to Joyce. And Jane, you love the synergy there. My face is really big and up the top, and there's Jane in the middle, and there's Joyce right at the end. It's just, I love this. I just love this, the visuals of StreamYard. So Joyce, thank you so much for all that we've been doing. I wanted to throw to you to thank Jane personally, and also just to talk about the crossover between her membership side and what we do and the power of accountability.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jane. First of all, you've made some very valuable points. I've loved them, and a couple of things I just want to review real quick. That you said, I love the 1,000 words a day. That is key and huge. If you're consistent and you eat that elephant one bite at a time, or 1,000 words a day, you finish it up, right? Like you said, did you do that? Did you do that 75,000 in the 30 days, or was it longer than that?
No, I did 30,000 words in 30 days. And then the next month I wrote the rest. But once you get on the roll, you've got to break the back of all of this, because once you've got 30,000 words, you're so proud of yourself that you think, oh, I'm going to finish this. And I found that once I did that, I was on such a roll. And, it takes 21 days to form a habit. So if it's 30 days, writing 1,000 words a day, suddenly if I didn't write, I felt that there was something missing in my life. And I didn't miss all the other things because I was on a mission. I wanted to get it done, and everything else could wait. Of course, I was still working, and I still have family, and I've got children, and all of that sort of thing. So it was very much a juggle. But if you let people know and they're there supporting you as well, that's what gets you through. So I had my family, I had my friends, and everyone was like, oh, so proud of you, Jane. Keep going, keep going. And whenever there's a bottle of Veuve Clicquot champagne being dangled in front of me, I always think, oh, that'd be quite nice too. And good to her word.
Chocolate. Give me anything chocolate, and that's my word. Woohoo! So I love it. So we all have I love that. And that's the next thing. I love the reward thing. And that's something that I've read recently in a book called 5,000 Words Per Hour. Is he said, create rewards so that you could create that writing habit. And when you do that, then you look forward to it. Somebody said, Linda has here, did you create an outline? Can you pop that up, Keith?
Yeah.
That is a good question. Did you create an outline? And how, you don't have to get into the nitty gritty, just was it detailed or not detailed with your outline, because there's something that I teach that is not a formal outline, but it is a form of outlining.
Okay. Well, remember that I'm not a professional writer. I happen to have written the book because I'm a coach and I wanted to get the support that I provide to people out there in a book form so that I could reach more people. So I didn't really know what to do, but what I did do was I needed to know initially, the first thing was, who am I writing this for? Who's going to be reading this, and why will they read it? That's the most important thing. Why would someone even read this book? So of course I was writing for job seekers, people who've gone through a redundancy, people who maybe hate their job or are not happy in their job, or also graduates who are starting out on their career thinking, well, I'm a bit nervous, I'm scared, I don't know what to do, because not everyone has a career counselor or a vocational counselor to help them move forward. So there was the practical step side, and that to me, that was the easy bit. So it's like once you've got the confidence, that's the hard bit, and you understand who you are and what really makes you tick. That's also the hard bit. Those were the hard bits. It was what people really, really wanted that I found, oh, wow, okay, how am I going to do this? But once I got that out of the way, then the process of getting a job, of writing a resume, finding out what your accomplishments are, understanding the job search strategies, how to network, how to work with recruiters, how to get past the applicant tracking system, all the things that you need to understand to market yourself. That was easy because it's just a process and I could document it. And then preparing interviews, that was quite a long section because there's a process to prepare properly for interviews as well. But in order to attract those interviews, you have to brand yourself. So I'm qualified as a branding coach and consultant. So I put a lot of my learning from there into that chapter, and I'm a LinkedIn trainer, so I put so much LinkedIn stuff in there, and in the second version there's so much more, because there are some fantastic features for job seekers on LinkedIn now, from the voice pronunciation feature to the build a resume feature to the interview preparation video feature on LinkedIn, all built into the platform that most people don't know about. So I wanted to talk about that. in the book as well.
Awesome. Yes. Well, what I wanted to share with that is, for those of you that are on here, I teach something called the Write Plan, and it's in our TWC Writing Club, but also in our group coaching program that starts in a couple of weeks called Write My Book Boot Camp. And what I'm doing right now is, you schedule a call with me. I am going through that Write Plan with you, and it's a much easier way to figure out what Jane figured out for her book. I've showed it to Keith. He loves it, and he's not even a writer. but what I love about it is you can use it for a book, for an article, for a blog post, for a professional talk, anything. And it's a couple of questions that help you find focus and write faster. And everybody that, once they learn it and get used to it, they're like, oh my goodness, this helps so much. I mean, we haven't even had Doug. Remember Doug's comment from last week, Keith? He's been through the course. He has it. And he made a comment.
And can you tell people who don't know what the WRITE is an acronym? What does it stand for? Because I thought that W stood for who, but it actually stands for what, doesn't it? What are you writing about? Who do you want to reach is the R. Who do you want to reach?
I is infrastructure, which is the foundation of the book, and I can show you how to create a foundation sentence. And then T is teach. What do you want to teach them in the book? That's what you're going to teach in the entire book, and then each chapter. And then E is edit and expand. So you got to edit your book, and expand it as, add stats, case studies, stories, things to give it your meat to your book, and give it, take away the fluff and really give it some interest. So I love that. And Jane, you brought up some other good point about having a system. I'm really big on systems. And for those that are not super organized and don't geek out on that kind of stuff, and you may be rolling your eyes going, oh dear God, don't tell me about that. They are key. They really will help you if you don't fight it and resist it. And that means essentially the Write Plan is a system. It's a system to write your book. And part of that was created because it took me 4 years to write my first book. And I was like, there's got to be an easier way and a faster way to do this. And I was just kind of flailing around in the dark at first. And when I finally got that system, now I can write a book, and I have a path to go on. And that's what I love to help people with.
Well, let me just pick up on what you guys both have in common. Apart from the fact that you've both written a book, Jane has, and I love this because we talked a lot at the start of the hour about legacy. And that we're doing this because we want to help the world. And we want to help the world and we've got to share this really cutesy video of Jane saying, I have a dream, and my dream is I want career coaching to be affordable. Because, the worst part, and I've been there, as I said, I've been retreats 3 times. The worst part about hating your job is the feeling that you can't afford to change. You've got no choice at all. You're stuck.
Yeah.
So Jane has started a second tier of the book with a membership site, which is very cost effective. And she actually gives a bit of group coaching. And that's what you guys have in common. Joyce has also that as well. And the power of a group coaching call is that we've got that accountability. Did you do your 1,000 words? You got that order in for champagne? Come on, I'll help you. We've got to help each other. So tell us about the membership site, Jane, and why is that so important as the next step from the book?
Okay. So, the Careers Academy, the reason why I created the Careers Academy is to provide people with affordable support, because one-on-one coaching, excuse me, ends up being a big investment into your career. But before I even talk about that, can I just say, Joyce, I love your acronym. I love acronyms. And if you're going to write a book, think about acronyms, because my acronym, my book is the Careers Method. Yours for your program is Write, What, Reach, Infrastructure, Teach, Edit. Fantastic. I love that. And it makes it so easy to remember as well. And you're absolutely right with that process. So I think your program sounds really valuable for any aspiring authors, Joyce. Fantastic. But with the Careers Academy, it's there for affordable support. For a monthly membership, you get instant access to a lot of value. So if you join as a member, you get instant access to my How to Write a Resume online program, which is lifetime access, and then personal branding for career success program. And you also get a 30-minute one-on-one coaching session with me, part of it, and monthly group coaching calls, which are an hour, and they're great fun. They're so much fun. They're on the second Monday of every month, and we have people just coming in from Germany and London and across Australia and Singapore, and it's really lovely, all talking about their challenges in their careers and what they want to do next, or setting up their business and what they want to do.
Yes.
And indeed, if someone wants to write a book, but I'm not a book coach. Joyce is a coach.
And so how does that map, Joyce, then, how does that map over what the writing club is? What is the writing club? Is it a very similar model? Can you talk about, for the people in the group that haven't heard of the writing club, is it a very similar idea?
Yeah, TWC Writing Club is the same idea, where we're giving you value each month through trainings. There's live and video trainings every month. Keith does one of the live trainings because he likes to teach live, and then I'm like, you want to do that? Go for it, buddy. So he does, and it's great because then you can ask your questions live. That's what everybody has found such great value in. That, you know, when you're sitting there, if you're watching a video and you have a question, yeah, you could type in and go to the group and ask a question, but it might be a little delay, and it's not the same energy as when you're asking there live. And then we do have a group call once a month as well, where you can come and ask your writing questions. And then in the Facebook group, you know, I'm encouraging people, you know, at least once a week, hey, where you're at, what's going on, do you have any questions? And, you know, anybody can pop in there anytime. And there's been support among the members too, which is wonderful, that they're supporting each other. You know, one will go, hey, I'm doing a Facebook Live. If you can come make it and support me, that'd be great. You know, because we talk about audience building doing Facebook Lives. And so we're there to support each other. And that's what I love. And I think that that's really what Jane's doing too, is supporting people on their journey of whether their career change is to another business job or their own business. Correct? Is that what you're doing, Jane? It's either one.
Yeah. I hope. Well, the main thing is to help people in their careers to progress in their careers. So it's either get a job, or if self-employment is a good option for them, it's still their career. So how you can actually start your own business.
Right. Yes, love that. And I am with you too, both about the working for other people. That is not gone well for me many times. And so I am the same way. I prefer working by myself, and, you know, well, I say for myself, not necessarily by myself, because Keith is on my team and Sherilyn's on my team, and I'm going to add some other people to the team soon. And so I am so excited that you've been here, Jane, and been helping us tonight share this. And it's good to see your success, because it shows the people here, you know, it does take time, it does take energy, and it does take some money to write a book, whether you're self-publishing or traditional publishing. And I'm assuming both your books are self-published. Is that correct, Jane?
Yes, that's right. Can I just say, the important thing is to find a good publisher. You have to have a very good editor as well, because editors are gold, and proofreading is very important.
Yes.
Yeah. Editors, I love editors, but find a good one.
How many times have you heard me say it, Keith? You need an editor. You need an editor.
Yeah, definitely. My book is a better book because I had a very good editor. She looked at everything that I wrote, and the content was great, but what she did was she tidied it up. And you know, sometimes when you get so passionate about what you're writing about, you just keep writing and writing and writing. And what happened was I ended up with 75,000 words, and she cut it down to 50. So there you go. So I had 25,000 words of fluff because I was on my roll writing.
Right. And out of natural tendency, we repeat ourselves, you know, and sometimes those things can be put together, because I'm an editor as well. So that is, I do that all the time, and I see that. And also when you get someone else's eyes on your work, then they can look at it and go, I'm not sure I understand this. Is this something your reader will understand? Because like I just finished editing a book for our Adrian, and his is about angel investing. And some of the terms and acronyms I wasn't familiar with, so I would put in there, will your reader know what this means? Because because I don't doesn't mean that they won't, because typically if you're in that industry, you're going to probably know the acronyms. But I didn't. And so, yes, editors are key and huge help to getting your work out. And I mean, if honestly, and I don't say this lightly, if you have to get a second job to pay for an editor, it is worth it. I mean, wouldn't you say so, Jane?
Yeah,
because
I think the thing is there's no point in writing a book if it isn't going to be a good one.
right.
And proofreading is another very important thing, because there's nothing more annoying than when you're reading a book and there's a typo in it or something isn't right. So don't think about saving money by proofreading yourself, because when you're the writer, you're so close to what you write, you don't even see the errors because
Right.
you read and skim over them so easily. So get a professional proofreader. And I actually had 4 different people: a professional proofreader, one CFO who reads, a very good friend of mine who reads reports, boring reports all the time. He picked up the most number of errors. Which was quite funny, and 2 other friends who are very detail oriented. So 4 people proofreading the book, and one of them was a professional, and that's what makes the book so much better. Because when you're going to put something out, make sure it's quality, because it's your brand you're putting out there.
Right.
People are getting to know you when they read that book.
That's right.
And that's
Look,
what all the time.
Let's we've cracked the hour, and we've had 94 comments in the hour, and there's a very diligent group of people: Doug, Dar, Andrea, Kaylee from my hometown, who's trying these cafes. We talked last week about the fact that a really cool person called Kaylee has moved to a town where I grew up and is now trying all the cafes. She's tried one, she gave it 7.5. She's now trying my second favorite cafe and going to compare it with coffee and atmosphere. Do a bit of a ring around. We're calling it the latte run. So a big hello to Kaylee. Big hello to Doug in Vancouver. We've got people calling in all over the world, and this is exactly what this show's about. But I want to give you both a chance to make maybe one last comment to wrap up what we've said today. Do you want to start, Joyce, with what you mainly got from the show and the key points you took away?
Yes. Well, the 2 things that I love was the accountability and then reward. Those are huge. And so I think that's very important. But the other thing I wanted to mention too, for those of you that are, if you're not watching on Facebook, we invite you to the Write My Book Facebook group. You can just Google, you can Google it, and you can search it in Facebook. And if you'd love to join us, we do this every Wednesday night. And then the other thing is, if you are looking to write a book and you want some help and some guidance on what to do and what's the next step, we have a couple different options for you. And I'd love to chat with you and show you the right plan. And I'll put a link in the comments, but you can set up a time to chat with me, and I do a complimentary call called Your Best Book Ever. And it's just simply a call to find out where you're at and how I can help you, and find out if there's, go over the right plan and show you that, and that'll get you started, because it gets you focused and organized. And, a lot of times the people, when I ask them, what's holding them back from finishing their book, and the number one thing is, I don't know where to start.
Getting started.
Yeah. So I would love to help you get started, help you finish, and help you along on your writing journey. I love helping people on their writing journey.
And I think this comment here from Dar says it all. Jane Jackson, thank you for tonight. This was extremely informative and delightful. You are absolutely amazing. 100 comments and people calling in from all over the world. Jane, I really want to thank you for coming in. It's janejacksoncoach.com.au if you want to know anything more about.
No, it's not. It's janejacksoncoach.com.
There's no AU. You got the .com.
No, yes, here. I'll put it here. There we go. I'll pop it in the private chat, and you can share that.
Oh, nothing like being contradicted live on air. That's good. janejacksoncoach.com. is the one URL everyone can go to find out more about your goodies. One last thought from you about what you think the process is about and what anyone can do to get started.
Okay, first of all, know what it is that you know and what you want to get out to the world, because don't write a book just because you feel like it. Write a book because you have a message for the world and it's going to benefit the world. So either is it going to be a self-help book? Is it going to entertain people? Is it going to make them feel some sort of emotion? How is it going to benefit them? So whether you're writing a novel or you're writing a business book, and mine is a business book, yes, there has to be a good reason for it, because otherwise it's just going to be another book that sits there collecting dust. And make sure it's going to make a difference in someone's life for having read it. Wow.
Well, that's a great way to finish. This is Wisdom Wednesday, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. It actually is 9 a.m. It's now 10 almost 10:30 a.m. We're so far away in Australia that it's actually tomorrow. That's something I always love to say.
We're so ahead.
You're getting tomorrow's information today. Like, it's still Wednesday in the US and Canada. We are so far ahead. We know what's coming. You got to follow Jane because she's right on the money. So we're going to continue on with this theory of this series of Wisdom Wednesday, 7 p.m. on Wednesday night in the group. Please join the group if you haven't yet, and please comment. We've had 100 comments so far today, so thank you. I'm gonna finish the broadcast there. We can continue the comments in the group, and Jane and Joyce will probably talk backstage in the green room and sort of further this forward. I suspect that Jane will be a member or guest on Joyce's podcast, and maybe the reverse. And Jane has a podcast on iTunes and Google Play, and she also has a live stream on LinkedIn Live, one of the 4 people in the world that I know actually has it. I've applied second time.
4. There are
I know, but I don't know.
More that you know.
I know at least 44 people that haven't got it. But I'm one of the people that are anxiously chomping at the bit to get LinkedIn Live, and that will come soon. So I'm going to wrap up. I know I've been a bit rambly, but it's been such a great day. Thank you for everyone for helping, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye now.